Hi, my name's Amelia Cloud, and the topic I chose to speak about today is global warming. I chose this topic because it is a crisis that we as humans can take action to mitigate, but also need to understand that we are the cause for this. I think global warming should be viewed as a scientific issue rather than a political one, backed by clear evidence. The longer we delay taking action, the more irreversible and the consequences will be. Previously, I've taken environmental science and sustainability college courses that have provided much more knowledge on this topic, and additionally taking small steps every day that we can slow the pace of global warming. Kimberly Cartier's article, Exceptional Global Warming Spike Continued in 2024, published on EOS.org, highlights that 2024 as the hardest year on record and anticipates this trend to continue. Following the University of Kentucky's Evaluating Sources for Credibility (CRAP) test guide, I determined that this article provided relevant and credible information. The article analyzes temperature trends for the year of 2024 and was published on January 10th of 2025, just after the data for the previous year was released. The content within the article provided current policies and their impacts, climate trends, and temperature records that further prove that this is a relevant article. And accuracy refers to the truthfulness and reliability of the information in the article. So Cartier utilizes data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NASA Berkeley Earth Reports, and interviews the director of NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies. Additionally, the article was published by EOS.org, a science news magazine by the American Geophysical Union. The author is a senior science reporter for EOS.org and earned her PhD studying extrasolar planets. The purpose of this article is to raise awareness that primary cause for the rising temperatures is due to humans emitting greenhouse gases, and that we're off track to the goal set by the Paris Climate Agreement. So the two types of bias I believe are present in the article are selection of sources and story selection. So first, let's define both of these types of bias. According to the bias lecture by Professor DeWitt from February of 2025, defines bias by selection of stories as including one or more sources that support one view over another and leaving out other sources supporting a viewpoint altogether. The article only emphasizes that the leaders and affiliations that support climate change is speeding up and uses general phrases that make it seem like everybody would agree. And many do agree with their claims. However, the article is leaving out potential opposing sides. Next, in the same bias lecture, bias by story selection is defined as a pattern of highlighting news stories that coincide with their agenda while ignoring stories of the opposing view. So after looking through the EOS or the science magazine EOS, I had found many articles that support their overall viewpoint of this issue and following like specific climates over time, informational articles, and other topics that coincide. Lastly, one type of bias I believe isn't present is bias by labeling. Luckily, this organization doesn't affiliate with any specific political party or candidates to push a certain narrative, and honestly, I think if it were the case, it would really damage the overall view of climate change, which is what we're actively trying to change. Lastly, we're going to look at the organization that publishes the EOS magazine, which is the American Geophysical Union. They were established in 1919 and began to serve as an affiliate to the National Academy of Sciences, and they continue to advance scientific research and are a non-profit international organization representing 137 different countries. Due to it being a non-profit, it is hard for me to believe that there's a large amount of ownership bias. However, according to the bias lecture by Professor DeWitt, once again, bias by statistics seems largely to be used over the entire organization. The carefully chosen data and analytics are used in titles and headers to provoke fear in the audience, but also further their narrative.